Hi, guys. I'm back. Looks like we'll get folks into the room here pretty quickly. So we'll see who we got first in the room. Hope you're having a happy Thursday. Certainly the weather's warming up. I'm tempted. Oh, hi, Dosick. I'm tempted next week to try doing the live segment from my balcony outdoors. The only reason why I'm kind of reticent to do it is that then I'd have to rely on Wi-Fi, and I don't know if the Wi-Fi is good enough to have you know live streaming work well. But I don't know. Maybe I'll try. Okay, we got 3 people in the room. All right, we're starting to build, starting to get a group here. 4, very good. Good morning, everyone. What are we in? Week 5 of semi-isolation? I mean, you kind of lose track of time, don't you, when you're living life, mostly indoors. Hello, Theodore. Was there a media note on Tuesday? Yes, there was. Remember, the newest media note is at the top, and the previous media note is the one that's right below it. So, let's see. Can't find it on Canvas. Are you talking about the quiz or the media note itself? Let's see. Hi, Hannah. Let me just click on Club Media Note here for a moment and see if I can find the media note. Oh, Theodore, you found it? Okay. Hi, Andrew. How you doing? How you doing? All right, up to 6 people. I just got buzzed about something. All right. All right. Well, let's start. I got it at 10:45. If you have not already started doing your midterm, this would be a good time to do it. It is available through Saturday. So just a couple more days to take it. Remember, I've decided to do this as all multiple choice. The final exam will be a little more challenging than that. But for now, I'm just trying to keep things really, really easy. Uh, It'll cover chapters 1 through 8. So the beginning of the course through the movie chapter. You will have, count them, 3 opportunities to take this thing. So you should be able to do, quite well on it. I mean, I would think. In review for the midterm exam, there was a supplemental instruction on the Discord platform on Tuesday with Stephanie presiding, and I stepped in, just briefly to see how it was going. Oh, hi, Hidden. How you doing? I got online on Discord just briefly to see how it was doing, and yeah, it seemed like there was a real spirited discussion, and I didn't want to stay too long because I thought, this is kind of a student space, and you guys should have a space where you can relax and unwind, and So, uh, hello, JK. Good to see you. Good morning. All right, so a couple more days to take that midterm. Next week's supplemental instruction will be going through chapter 9, the television chapter. So again, it'll be on Discord with Stephanie, chapter 9, next Tuesday at 12:30. All right, let's see. What other things do I have in the announcements? As you study for your midterm exam, remember that all of the PowerPoints I have now converted to that audio lecture format. So chapters 1 through the end of the course, they're all there in that audio lecture format. Also, should you miss my opening live streamed comments, I'm now starting to archive them on Canvas. So, if you get here a little late and you say, gee, what did he say during the first couple of minutes? You can see the archived version of my live stream. All right, now let's talk a little bit about the term paper. The due date on that is May 7. If you can get that in a week earlier, you get 2 extra points, the early bird special. You are at a point now where I think you should at least have a rough draft. I think having a rough draft takes a lot of the pressure off you. Furthermore, you can read through it, and even if it's lousy, you can say, gee, what parts of this really aren't very good, and what would it take to make it good? I think that's the advantage of having a rough draft. So, since we have the time, what questions do you have about your term paper? And while you're composing your questions, let me say a little bit more about it, okay? You have 4 topics that you can choose from. If you remember, 3 of them are on that assignment sheet that you got in class back in the olden days when we used to meet in person. That same sheet is also on Canvas. Look under the term paper module, and there's a thing that says emerging media, revolving media. Yeah, that's the assignment sheet. And then if you remember, we have the 4th topic about coronavirus. And I put those study questions in the announcements on Canvas. Whatever topic you choose, I'm holding you to the same structure, the same level of research, and so on and so forth. Over the break, I put together my rubric. In other words, what I'm looking for when I score the paper. So, especially as you're going from rough draft to really fine tuning this paper, take a look at my rubric. I mean, oftentimes students will say, I don't know what the teacher wanted. Well, in that rubric, I'm telling you exactly what I want. So there you go. Do we have any questions about the term paper? Let's see what's going there. Well, okay. Maybe you guys are squared away on the term paper. I mean, there's nothing wrong with knowing what you're doing. So, okay. Then we will move to the question of the day. And this question of the day got real good response in 2 of my classes. And in one of my classes, it just sort of laid there. So, I don't know. We'll see where you guys are. Here is today's question of the day. Will life after the COVID crisis go back to being like life before the crisis? And what permanent changes do you foresee? Will life after the COVID crisis go back to being like life before the crisis? And what lasting changes do you foresee? Permanent changes. Okay, let's light up that chat box. I have one contribution to this conversation. Okay. Let's start with the responses here. Hannah, I think it will always be different. Everyone is going to be scared. I think so. That magic moment where we can go out to a restaurant, or we can go back on the trails, or whatever it is we do. That's going to be kind of scary. It's going to be like, really, is it okay now? And just imagine how long it'll be before we'll feel comfortable, going to a Dodger game or something. Theodore is saying that telecommuting is going to be a big deal. Yeah. I mean, there's some things that you cannot do by telecommuting. Like for example, if you're in the construction trade, you can't, you can only install windows in the house that you're installing windows in. You can't do it from your home. But yeah, for those of us who are maybe information workers. Yeah, I think telecommuting will become more prevalent. Um, let's see, hidden. I think it'll go back to being semi-normal, but I do foresee changes in the way people will engage in social interactions with others. Somebody coughing will have a whole new significance. Yeah, I mean, if you really want to clear the room, you just cough. Yeah, you're in a supermarket line and you got to get somewhere. Just cough a little bit. Yeah, social interactions will be different. Dr. Fauci, of the National Institute for Health, he said that he could live without ever shaking hands with people again. He thinks that that's a custom that may, begin to die. I have a solution for that. So instead of when people meet each other, they, shake hands. Maybe they'll just go. You see, they're shaking hands. I know that was really dorky. All right, let's see. Abiel, yes, it's going to go back to normal because we've been through so many crises. But after life will go back to normal, there will be changes. So yeah, they sometimes say about after the Second World War that when the GIs came home, that they just wanted life to be normal. And so if you think of this as like a little war, then maybe people will try to make their lives as normal as possible, but that there are some changes that are going to have to be made. Like for example, people will be a little more concerned for their health in big crowd situations, or something like that. Andrew is saying, I think it won't because everyone's still going to remember these days and get scared for no reason. I think it's going to haunt people after it's done. There is some belief that we're going to have this sort of evolving public mental health crisis that, there's already a lot of folks in our society who have problems with anxiety. And you can imagine where things like that could become worse as a result of all this. Theodore, racism is going to be a bigger trend than it was before the virus. Yeah, it seems like it's almost given an excuse for people to express racist sentiments. Asian Americans have borne the brunt of this racism from what I can see in the news reports. There is now some reports, and that it's spreading to anti-Semitism. And so I'm guessing that if this goes on long enough, every group that has been discriminated against in American history will probably be discriminated against, at least by some, before this is over. And I'm sure in other countries where they have their own bigotries that it'll probably kick up there too. What else? Andrew is saying, yeah, it's all over Twitter as well as everyone on my feed is racial and COVID related. Well, hopefully that doesn't get worse than it is now. All right, let's move you ahead here. You have a media note today that, if you've been noticing, about half of my media notes have been about COVID and media in some way. And the other half are media notes that I would have done if this crisis had never occurred. Today's is one of those media notes that I would have done if this crisis had never occurred. It's about a new technology that will allow movie and television actors to be immortal. Then, of course, there's the short media note quiz that relates to that media note. And then after that, I'm going to have you finish up chapter 9. That's the television chapter. If you remember last time, You went through the slide that said Ted Turner, cable pioneer. So today you're starting on the next slide, which is Hollywood and the VCR. And that'll be 31 minutes. All right. Are there any last questions before I end the live feed and go over to Canvas chat? Just going to look at the chat box here, see if there's any last questions before I end the live stream. Okay, guys, I'm going to head on over to Canvas. I'll see you over there in a few seconds.